You're watching In the Chambers of the Chambers by Alhad Oak. Today we had an opportunity to meet Aaron Solomon, who is managing partner Solomon and Company, and I'm sure you're going to get an exciting experience today. Thanks, Aaron, for joining In the Chambers of the Chambers by Alhad Oak. It's a privilege to have you on this conversation, and I'm sure we are going to get a lot of insights from a successful lawyer. The first question that I always have for you is about being a second generation lawyer. How can you decide about joining a different law firm than your own firm?
I would certainly recommend to all lawyers, second, third, fourth generation, whatever you may be, to work in another law firm before heading off on your own, by yourself or in your family firm. Only by working in another firm, you grow up in the school of hard knocks. You grow up as one among other juniors who grow along with you. Even today, I tell my juniors that one day I was like them, and I learned the same way as them with the same mistakes, which maybe I could not have if I started off within my family firm. When it comes to me, back in '95 when I qualified, foreign investments, collaborations, joint ventures, mergers and acquisitions were happening in India for the first time. It was exciting, it was heady, and it was the biggest names and big news in the papers at that point of time, which many in the legal profession and outside the legal profession had not seen before in our country. With some luck, I had topped the solicitor's exam, so I had the marks, and I was accepted in a fantastic law firm, which was one of the best in the field at that point of time. And it gave me the privilege to work on some of these very exciting cases, which kept me working for the 16-18 hours a day.
Back then in India, in 2000s, early 2000s and late 90s, we had flurry of investments happening, foreign investments happening in India. And I know you had participated in a lot. What were your key challenges and how you handled those challenges?
The greatest challenge was no precedent. Everything we did was new, everything we did was first of its kind, and we needed specific government permissions for most of the big transactions we did back then. It involved a lot of research and study in terms of practices outside India, in Europe and in the States, and adopting and applying which of those practices are likely to be adopted by the Indian governments and where they would not. A lot of our work involved making representations to the government as well, government interface, which at that point of time was not digital or online. And possibly learning and explaining to the government some of the points of difference, convincing them. The other challenge was that we did not have clients. Most of the multinational companies were not in India at that point of time. We did not have Zoom calls and video calls or even instant messaging. Emails was on its early days, and we worked mainly through fax, and communication was a lot more difficult at that point of time.
So while you're catering to different segments in Solomon Co. for your clients, how do you keep yourself updated and how do you ensure that this kind of knowledge is given to all the team members along?
In today's day and age, with communication and technology, I think keeping yourself updated is a lot easier than what it used to be back then. Many years ago when I started off, to update ourselves, we had to go and pick up a book in possibly the High Court library or a bookshop. Nowadays you get it on your phone in an instant. So a lot of the research happens, on the way, in the office, on the way to office, on the way back home, reading up on the phone, on the iPad. Though I must admit that very often knowledge management and learning happens on the job. When you have a case, that's when you tend to look up and do research. When I was a junior lawyer, my plan was to learn something new every day. So in addition to working on the case, I always took the time off to walk away with a piece of research which was related to the case I was working on, but maybe independent research which taught me something new. One thing I learned from Japanese lawyers was to have a meeting, a pre-meeting in preparation before any client meeting or hearing, and a post-meeting after conclusion of a client meeting or hearing, to prepare and then to wrap up. That helps you to gather all the facts, to interact with your juniors, to gather the knowledge, and for you to do better in meetings.
So when you select interns in Solomon Co., what are the key qualities that you look out for selection of new candidates?
Our internship program is a bit different from many other law firms. Our internship program is on a first come first serve basis. To our mind, interns are students They're learning the law, and we would not want to put them through a rigorous test at the time of them joining us. It is our job, in fact, to train them and give them the skills to succeed later on in their career. For that reason, we do not have any intern interviews at all. We do not expect any requirements from interns. The first who applies, and if we have the post open, they get the seat. Of course, interns are preferred when it comes to placement further down the line, and we do look out for qualities in interns while they're working with us. And realizing that these are young lawyers at the start of their careers, I think the qualities we look for is diligent and hard work and honesty.
Technology is all around us, and we use technology at each section of our life. How is it impacting your life as a lawyer, and what kind of life you envisage of a lawyer considering the advent of technology?
I do not believe lawyers will be replaced by supercomputers. I think as long as we are in a profession which helps people, which interacts with people, which needs to be personalized based upon the case and the people you meet, I think hopefully lawyers will continue to do one better than computers, which will continue to be an asset, a tool, but not a replacement. Having said that, I think technology plays an increasingly important role in a lawyer's profession. We are already using some of the tools for research, time management, billing, but we're seeing increasingly use of course, blockchain coming in as well for example, digital and encryption of documents and document retention. We are seeing enhanced tools for search through government records, including land records and registries. So there's definitely a lot more scope of things which could be done with land records moving online, with land agreements and conveyance deeds moving into some sort of a digital form. And I think that's something which the lawyers will need to adapt to and change with continued learning.
What could be an advice that you would like to give to young lawyers or those who want to join this profession?
The one piece of advice is you need to have patience. Growing up as a lawyer does take a minimum incubation time of around 5 years. You do need to give yourself that time to learn, gain experience, gain hands-on exposure to multiple different cases. Before you're able, you have the confidence to handle cases on your own. The second piece of advice is nothing replaces hard work, but you need to put in the hours, you need to work diligently, work honestly, to gain the experience and knowledge for you to be an accomplished lawyer of your own. My third piece of advice would be a little trick I used while studying. A lot of our law books and statutes is things you don't necessarily need to know. If you look at most of our statutes, there may be 20% of those of the sections in there is which things you need to have on the tip of your fingertips. Another 20% is things which you need to know where to find. Another 20% is things which are possibly you're familiar with, you can look for it and research it if necessary, and the other 40% you don't need to know about. So focus on the 20% which you need to know, and that will train you and give you the knowledge to be a good lawyer.
Aaron, what's your take on the foreign lawyers and foreign law firms entering into India?
I think that's a controversial question. It depends on which side of the table you're looking at it. As the managing partner of a law firm, it would create a significant level of competition. And many people ask me, why we focus on areas like insurance law, patents, trademarks, in addition to the traditional areas of litigation, corporate laws, finance. That's because I feel the foreign lawyers will be here soon. They will gain a sizable footprint when it comes to corporate and commercial law. Hopefully Indian lawyers and the traditional Indian law firms will continue to play a big role in litigation, and hopefully foreign law firms will continue to rely upon the Indian firms when it comes to things like trademarks, patents, insurance, and some of the other specialty practice areas. From a lawyer's perspective, I think foreign law firms being in India would be a tremendous asset. Indian professionals and Indian employees have already done fantastically outside India when it comes to nursing, technology, engineering. I think lawyers being another service sector and lawyers in India would gain tremendous experience, job opportunities, and ability to work all over the world once the foreign law firms are in India. Indian lawyers are already doing well, those are who are overseas, because of our hard work, knowledge, and education. And I think that can grow exponentially once the foreign law firms are here.
Thanks, Aaron, for so many beautiful answers that you have given during in the chamber section. Now we'll be moving to the off the chamber section, where I would like to know what Aaron is all about as a person. You have already seen the professional part. Let's see how Aaron is as a person off the chambers. So brilliant conversation we had in the chambers, and now we are here in the off the chambers. I'd like to know Aaron as a person. What could be one role that you would have adopted rather than a lawyer in life?
That's an interesting question. I think I would have loved to join the army.
Oh,
Yeah. If I wasn't a lawyer, I would have loved joining the army, or maybe at least the police forces, if not the army. I think they do a fantastic job, and even now I love reading up on military strategy. I've been a strategist. One of my key reasons I would say as success as a lawyer is my love for strategy. And legal strategy is one part of it, but military strategy is another, which is pretty fascinating, and I even now spend a lot of time reading up on it, and yeah, that would be an interesting alternate career.
that's nice. So Komal as a lawyer and mother of Nathan and Naomi, how do you support Komal?
So one is Komal, like you said, is an amazing lawyer. A lot of what I know and a lot what I learned from Komal. I've always been a bit of a hard-nosed lawyer. Komal has a lot more the soft skills than I do when it comes to dealing with clients, and I learned a lot from her for that. And I continue to encourage her to work, to stay in the profession despite having a house and the kids to manage. And I do try to be a good father for the kids and be a good husband for Komal. Sometimes Komal would like me to prioritize that over being a lawyer, but that's difficult.
So your dad is a practicing lawyer. How do you connect to your dad as a father, and how you connect to Naomi and Nathan as a father?
So my dad, I think he is a leading light for not only me but for all the lawyers in our firm.
True.
We all look up to him as our moral anchor. And whenever we feel, I mean, of course, legal issues and complicated legal issues, we do brainstorm with him, with his experience. But also, I mean, sometimes questionable decisions and moral decisions, of whether we should be taking a tough case or a case which involves a few moral questions or not. He is the guiding light for all of us. And of course, as a father, we don't normally speak about law at home. And there are so many different things to talk about. And when it comes to the children, just a joy watching them grow. I think it's a different world now than what it used to be. And we need to give them the space and the freedom for them to grow in their own way. I hope at least one, if not both of them, become lawyers, but there's a bit of a question mark on that for now at least.
Okay.
But as long as they succeed and do well, I think that's all any father could ask for.
Wonderful. Paint a picture. You miss your marriage anniversary. What would happen?
What's the section where you put into the jail? I need to hire a lawyer myself first. But I think luckily for me, my marriage anniversary is one day after my birthday. So
Okay.
it was good legal strategy. We have planned it so I have an automatic calendar reminder.
Correct. So you're playing guitar. So do you practice now, or you want to practice a little bit more? Something about that, your hobby?
So I played guitar while growing up. So it was really relearning a skill which I did in my younger days. So Komal monopolizes the television at home. So so while I'm sitting next to her while she's watching soap operas or something, I pick up the guitar and play.
Okay.
And not practice. I'm not a very high quality guitarist. So it's mainly, I mean, the 4 or 6 chords. I mean, playing that, strumming along.
Okay.
Yeah, I enjoy that. It's a good de-stressing routine.
Any funny incident that you would like to share in your life or in your professional career that you feel, oh, how did that happen?
So I think as a lawyer, the funniest case I've got is a case involving the arrest of an elephant. For an elephant to be on the streets of Bombay, you need a license from the municipal authority.
Right.
So we had an elephant roaming the streets, of course, for donations without the license. So the police were called. They arrested the elephant and they locked him up in the jail.
Oh my God.
In the Baikla Zoo,
Oh.
which was the jail.
Okay.
So we had to go to the courts to get him out on bail.
Wow.
He succeeded. Yeah, he was released on a bail bond. Yeah, so that was a strange one.
That's a fantastic experience. So Aaron, thank you for sparing valuable time out of your busy schedule. But it's such a fun listening to you, and I'm sure a lot of insights our viewers are going to get out of this. Thank you so much.
Great speaking with you. Thank you.
If you enjoyed the video, please like the video, share it to your friends and family, and hit the bell icon so that you get all the future notifications out of our videos.